All right, what's up?
Hey everybody, so this is Miles. I have Gaetano Nino DiNardi here. He's a marketing practitioner I've had a lot of respect for a while. Is kind enough to share some time. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Miles. It's good to talk to you, man. I love your work, love your content. I love your controversial stance on a lot of stuff, and you're not afraid to speak your mind. So that's what's up. I really appreciate
And that's how we met, arguing over quantity versus quality and realizing we agreed after all. Yeah.
that. Exactly.
So just to start, do you want to share a little about your background, where you're from? I know obviously you have beautiful Miami behind you now.
Yeah, but I'm still repping NY, baby. You see that? So I'm from New York, born and raised. It's still my heart, still my hometown, but I had to make a move down to Miami. But back when I was in New York, I got my career started by basically teaching myself SEO and digital marketing to about as good as anyone can kind of self-teach themselves. And then I felt that it was time to take my talents to the bigger leagues. So I begged this guy who was starting an SEO agency to give me a chance. And I didn't really have proven experience, right? That's the problem with like hiring these days. You can't really get a good job unless you have proven experience. So I just begged them to take a chance on me. And as some people know, a lot of people don't know, I'm a musician. So my test project to get the job was to display my marketing strategy behind my music. So of course I had my own website. I was building traffic to my website just by doing reviews of articles, reviews of companies in the music industry that I felt were scammy and sleazy. And I started building a lot of SEO traffic to my site by accident. And I realized, oh my God, this is really cool. Like, how are people, finding my site, finding my music just by the fact that I'm giving them knowledgeable information about companies to avoid working with, right? So I got into that SEO agency. Long story short, by the time I left that company, there were 16 employees. I was the second full-time employee hired there. I got to work with big clients like Major League Baseball and Granger. These are 10 million page sites. They're giants. So I got my feet wet really quick. Got thrown into the deep end. After 2 years in the agency grind, I made my way to Pipedrive, where I ran the SEO and content marketing program there. We really focused on building an inbound lead generation program based on just the same thing we're doing now, valuable content, things that would be relevant to SMB businesses that are looking to improve their sales process, how to get more mileage out of your CRM, all sorts of topics from sales, marketing to customer success. And then naturally, when Max was looking for somebody to run growth at Sales Hacker, there was a lot of overlap there because I already had the sales background. I learned a shitload about sales when I was at Pipedrive, and then we just made the transition to Sales Hacker. And, basically at Sales Hacker, everyone kind of knows the story. We took it from, kind of flatlining to we 5X organic traffic. We took the email list to over 100K, and as of recently acquired by Outreach.io. So, I mean, it's been an incredible ride, and there's only the sky to go from here. So that's where I'm at.
Totally. And now when you look at that success, I think a lot of the people in my community are entrepreneurs or don't have a roadmap. What do you think differentiated you from all the people competing for sales and marketing's attention in terms of why you succeeded at Sales Hacker where others might have gone wrong?
Yeah, I mean, there's a number of variables that go into it. I think number one, you got to be yourself at the end of the day. Like, I knew that there were certain types of companies that I would never be able to work for because I'm such an oddball. I'm very unconventional in my approach. I'm kind of outspoken. For example, when I was at Pipedrive, one thing that I did to gain notoriety with my personal brand was I started doing teardowns of websites publicly. So I would pick these sites apart and I would say, look at all the problems with this website's metadata. Look at the structure. It's all messed up. Look at all these spammy backlinks. Look at their terrible approach to social media. And I would call out all these problems, and then I would say, here's exactly how I would do it. And I would do this. So I would call out all these problems. I would call out all these solutions. And that CEO of that one company that I did a tear down of called me directly. And at first he was mad. He was like, take this down now. And before you know it, he was asking me for help, trying to hire me. So like doing stuff like that, just to stand out, understanding the importance of personal brand early in your career is huge. And not just like make noise on LinkedIn. Don't just try to be like Gary Vee because everyone else is doing that, but find unique ways to provide value, like everyone says. And tear downs and big SEO kind of research projects were my way of standing out because not really a lot of people were doing that, but the few that were doing that were killing it. So I just kind of took that approach. And in short, I think doing things to stand out, to build your personal brand early are going to be the difference maker.
And I know you had a great post the other day, because I think one person was talking about trying to do a daily vlog, and you said, look, you're not Gary Vee. And then I saw it, which I love how blunt you are. The second one was, you guys got to stop posting 3 times a day on this platform. Can you speak to that? Like, do you think people are trying to start at Gary level and they're skipping getting there? Or how do you think about that?
Yeah, exactly. I do think they're trying to skip to Gary Vee level, and it's not good. Now, I get it. You know, Gary Vee he had to start somewhere too, right? He was in a little wine cellar and nobody cared about him. He was just making little wine videos, right? But at the end of the day, he still had a strategy. He still knew like who his target buyers were, wine people who were in the wine market. He maybe did a weekly series to start with or something like that. And he had like an agenda of things he was going to go through in his videos, right? I just see a lot of people getting on LinkedIn, rambling, posting 2-3 times a day, and every day. So, you know, what ends up happening is like you're just too much. And it comes down to, you know, it's good to be top of mind, but it's bad to be sort of too top of mind. You know, you don't want to be, oh my God, this guy again, so predictable. Oh, I knew he was going to talk about this, or oh, I knew she was going to talk about that. So an element of surprise, and I think variation in your content strategy on LinkedIn is going to go along. Like I try to mix it up with video, post, text post, list style, check listings. So I try to mix it up as much as I can, and I don't try to promote too many things at once so that it's not too predictable on what I'm going to do, you know?
So, yeah, I think the 2 things that make you great are you'll always share your mind, which most people won't do. You'll be like, look, like this individual person has no idea what they're doing. You're happy to say it. So, and then the second thing is you're actually, there's no question you know this stuff like the back of your hand. So when you say, here's the 5 SEO things, no one can call you out and be like, prove that that works. Like, here's 50 examples of it working. What do you have?
Exactly.
I love how you do it. And when you think
thanks.
about sales and marketing, so I know some of your beef with sales is too short-term focused, just like hero strategy, just super take oriented. How do you think about sales and marketing integrating better?
Yeah, you know, man, here's the thing. What I've come to realize over the years of working with sales very closely is that marketing is ultimately held accountable to revenue. Yep. And even as recently as 2018, like I kind of hate to say this, but marketing qualified leads don't really mean that much anymore. Mm-hmm. You know, if we're not driving revenue, like if sales teams are not able to produce quotes and send out contracts that are meaningful with a high chance to close, you know, it's marketing is not doing their job. The ratio I like to try to keep to myself and keep myself accountable to is 2.5 leads a day per rep. Mm-hmm. That's a big number, but you know what? Once you get inbound humming and you're able to layer it up with channel and partnerships and referrals and customer support upsells and paid marketing and all these and marketing automation, it's very doable. But the benchline for success, in my view, is 2.5x leads per rep per day for marketing. That's what marketing has to do. So going back to the original point is like marketing has to start realizing that they are a cost center, and if marketing is not able to help sales produce revenue, it's basically a lost cause. So prioritizing marketing efforts in proximity to business results is the most important thing you can do. There's a million different things you can do in marketing, and the biggest downfall I see companies struggling with right now, especially SMB and startups, is that they don't really know how to prioritize based on proximity to business results.
I totally agree. And I think a lot of people either think social or marketing is going to drive huge results right away, which, like you said, it's patience and building over time, or they think outbound. In reality, it all takes time. It's quality. And can you speak to that? I mean, you've added so much value and quality, either individually, you know, texting people 24 hours a day, or as a company. Like, do you think people have a generous enough attitude?
You know what, man? Maybe I'll deflect that back to you, because you're one of the few that I see doing outbound really well, but also, you know, keeping the mindset of like, it can't just be, how can I get a time on your calendar? You know, so maybe I'll deflect that back to you before I give my own thoughts, because you're doing it really well. So what's your secret sauce?
I think genuinely you have to actually want to give your arm for them before you even think about selling them something. And it's like, how can I help your nephew who's looking to get into my company's sales program? Like, once you build a relationship that shows that even if you never buy from me, I'm on your side. I think, like you said, I mean, I know you work a lot. Like, it's tricky. You don't want to give up time, because it's pretty much our most precious thing on this earth. So someone's saying, I want 15 minutes, and so many people connect with you on LinkedIn. I mean, I've had 3 Northwestern Mutual people hit me this week trying to trick me into saying, I want your advice. And they get on the phone and go, what do you know about Northwestern Mutual? I go, guys. And then 2 days later, they say, hey, I found these 30 people on LinkedIn who you're connected to. Like, can I tell Gaetano that I know you? It's like, I lectured you on not lying. Like, so it's like, so yeah. I hear, I think it's a balance, and outbound works really well if you have that strategy, because you can say, I mean, like, we do also direct mail, bombs a tool I'm getting into, where you're going to get a message in front of people, but it's the same thing where if I can give before I ask for anything, because can you speak a little bit too about the buying cycle? We're talking top of mind awareness. So I'd love to hear how you think about it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we you know, I think we spitball on this before, Miles, but like, at the end of the day, a lot of people on LinkedIn may not be in a buying cycle, you know, and there's no way to tell. And you can't just come out and ask them, hey, are you actively looking for this product? Are you guys actively looking for a marketing analytics solution or BI dashboard? Like, you just don't know, right? So the idea is that you want to become top of mind by constantly adding value, so that when something triggers that buyer to say, oh man, our current BI dashboarding provider just jacked up the prices. Now we got to go see who else is out there. Oh, who's that guy on LinkedIn that's always talking about marketing dashboards? I think I want to hit him up, right? So you really only have 2 choices when it comes to 2 options, really, the way I see it. You can go cold and spray and pray and just say, hey, do you happen to be looking for a marketing dashboard solution right now? Yes or no. Basically, that's, you know, and it's going to be a slim chance if you do that. Maybe you'll hit a few, but majority of people will not be actively looking for that. But if you remain top of mind, and that catalyst occurs where something happens, and you're top of mind, they're going to go to you when that time comes. And that goes back to the other thing too. Like, a lot of almost every prospect already has a solution that they like, or that they're comfortable with, or that they're using. Almost every single one. I don't know of any business that's like not using like the core, unless it's like a startup that's maturing. Like, most businesses are using like a lot of the products already. So you're up against a lot. You know what I'm saying? And Miles, you know this. You do a lot of outbound. You're calling into prospects who are already using your competitors. So how do you overcome that?
I agree with you. It's the long game. Like, I had people say no, and I just send them cookie baskets, Christmas books, highlighted books. Like, and over time, they're like, they just literally, like you said, they just go, we'd like to buy something from you, because they just feel like you. And everyone misses. I think about a triangle. They like you, they trust you, they perceive a need for what you do, they see what you do as like filling that need. And we thought about channel when I was at CVM, when we went to build these big channel relationships. We drew the same triangle. Like, making them like us is a different equation than seeing a need. But I agree with you that sales reps also need to realize, if you really want to get to the point where you're, you know, on a beautiful porch at night, not having to write letters till your hand bleeds, which is a great exercise, but you don't want to do your whole life, then you got to think longer term, because you can really think like a marketer even if you're in sales.
100%, man. I think you nailed it. I think it's creative and thoughtful persistence versus being a pest. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're a pest, you know, you just, I love the idea of persistence. You know, don't get me wrong. I love the idea, that story of like the guy who followed up 80 something times and finally won the deal. Like, woo, everybody on LinkedIn goes nuts, right? And that's great. But the reality is that there's an art and science to doing that. And it seems like the way you have it built out with your cadences seems to really be working well.
Yeah, and I read a book by the guys at IDEO called Creative Confidence, and I just thought, what actually, because you can read an email, and you know this as a marketer, half the emails we send we would never respond to. Like, it's almost laughable. Like, we actually think that like calling someone's cell phone cold, then texting them at 8 at night is a good idea when we would never respond. Like, so I agree with you. I think if you reverse engineer and you're patient, I think everyone wants to do everything so fast. Like, how can I get a bot that friends over on LinkedIn? Like, you want to be the one guy, and people act like the brand you have, like, it came from a lot of times like this, came from a lot of like nights of PDF messaging that guide at 2 a.m. Like, no one sees that. They just think, so I love it. And one more question for you. There's so much proliferation of like artificial intelligence. All jobs are going away. My personal opinion, it's not even close. Like, it can only do pointed tasks. Like, there's a web scraper called hunter.io.
I know it. Yeah.
We're doing machine learning that are just hunter.io with a new front end and supposedly a venture capitalist. What are your thoughts on AI? Does it have any place in all this?
Yeah, man. I mean, AI is huge. What I would say, it's a magnifying glass, like if you suck at your job and you try to just layer AI onto shit and think it's going to get better, it's actually going to expose you because you don't have the processes down. You don't have the basics. You don't have the fundamentals. You're not blocking and tackling right. And then you try to throw AI on top of it. It's just going to be a mess. I would say AI is the best when people do have a good process, when they are very efficient with their current tech stack, and they just use AI as an enabler. And they use AI to kind of just enhance. So that's, what's that saying? Like a tool is a guy that doesn't know how to use a tool is just a fool, or something like that. Like that's kind of true. You know what I mean? Like, you can have the best Ferrari in the world, but if a guy doesn't know how to drive it, then the Ferrari's kind of worthless. So that's kind of my view on AI right now. You're seeing this with Google a lot too, and the way that the algorithm is influencing the way that content marketers and SEOs are producing content. Like the old, not even that old, actually recently, like as of a couple years ago, the rule of thumb was like, you need 2,000 word articles to rank. There's a correlation between articles that are ranking in the top positions in Google being 2,000 words and 3,000 words, in that range. But now what you're seeing is FAQ style, Q&A style content coming back, like, because people are using voice to search. So they're speaking into the search box as the way they would normally talk. So natural language processing is a factor in the Google algorithm. So if you're producing content that is long, clunky, and robotic for queries that are human nature and they're spoken for voice, this is how you optimize for voice in a sense. That short answer Q&A style stuff is going to crush. That's why you're seeing that featured snippet when you search for something like what is inside sales, for example. You'll see like a 3-sentence snippet so that no one actually has to click into a result. They just see the answer box there in Google, and it's right there for you.
Yeah, that is empathy, everybody. You never lose if you empathize. The minute we lose is we want to write the 2,000 word article, it's not working, and the market's wrong.
Yeah, exactly. So it's coming down to the intent of what the users want. Do you answer that comprehensively and thoroughly enough in the format that they expect to see it?
Yeah, that could not have been said better. And lastly, anything my community here can do to help you, other than follow you, share your stuff, anything specifically?
No, man, that's it. I'm not looking to sell anything. I don't really need anything. I'm just looking to share value and connect with as many people as possible, and hopefully just build some new relationships. That's basically it, man. That's my only end game for LinkedIn, is to be a presence, share what I know, hopefully help other people out. And in exchange, I hope to learn from other people as well. That's really the best part about LinkedIn, in my opinion. Of course, the prospecting is great, and all this other stuff that can support your sales and marketing processes is great. But the most underrated and undervalued part of LinkedIn right now is learning, man. You can learn so much. Like just the other day, I was like, damn, who can I talk to about customer onboarding? Who's really good at this that I can learn from? I put that out there. Before I know it, there's 10 people in my inbox. Hey, I would love to talk to you about this. Like, wow, that's pretty cool, So that to me is like the goal for LinkedIn. It's give knowledge and get knowledge back. Just get better, and ultimately we'll all perform better in business. We'll make the world a better place. That's just what it's all about.
I couldn't agree more. So thank you so much in that spirit for taking the time to share tonight. And we appreciate it. Look forward to hearing from you again soon.
Thanks, Miles. It's always a pleasure, man. Keep in touch. And of course, if you or anyone in your network needs anything, holla at your boy.
Absolutely. Appreciate it.
All right. Talk to you soon.
Bye.